short while ago, I think it's called One FC. They put up a kind of a fantasy chart asking people in what 3 martial arts they would pick if given a choice. And several people commented and pointed out that Jeet Kune Do was conspicuously missing from this list of martial arts. So today we'll ask why that might have been, and we'll discuss if Jeet Kune Do is truly in danger of disappearing from today's martial arts landscape. Hello everyone, this is Dwight Woods, Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 140. This is the one about Jeet Kune Do almost nowhere to be found. As you're logging in, if you guys would be kind enough to say where you're logging in from and hit the like button, and please feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the final edit video over on the YouTube, then be sure to hit the like button there, hit the notification bell, and please subscribe to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast channel. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support it, visit jkdrebel.com, click on the Rebel Gear link, and check out what we offer. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. So recently I said that when I came along to JKD in 1983, I said on a recent podcast that the martial art magazines were always featuring JKD and its associated disciplines. And I even went so far as to say that Inside Kung Fu built its reputation on Jeet Kune Do and Filipino Kali. But in researching for today's program, I realized that it wasn't exactly like that. It's just that I remember it that way because I was brand new to Jeet Kune Do, and so I was hyper-focused on that. And, you know, kind of like when you're focused on getting a new car and all of a sudden that brand or that model is the only car that you see out there on the streets, right? So in any case, it can definitely be said that Jeet Kune Do did enjoy a stellar amount of coverage back in the day. I mean, we all know about the 1970s Black Belt magazine issue with the Liberate Yourself from Classical Karate article. Then there was Fighting Stars magazine. I wanted to show you guys pictures of all these, but then I realized that it might take us a little bit longer than necessary. So there was Fighting Stars magazine. I did check this out though. I think in the Fighting Stars was around for about 13 years and nobody appeared on the cover of Fighting Stars magazine more than did Bruce Lee, right? Okay, looking at things chronologically, in 1984, The Karate Kid was released, and that gave a boost for people who were running martial arts schools. That gave a boost to the kids' martial arts market. So when I look at this entire landscape, I would say that Jeet Kune Do's heyday was in the decade and a half from about 1980 to 1995. People were still very much into Bruce Lee. I mean, people have always been very much into Bruce Lee, but back then. But what was different is that there was now the availability of instruction, because heretofore that was relatively unheard of, right? So, I mean, come on, look, in a tiny Caribbean island like Barbados in 1985, Jeet Kune Do, albeit at a beginner level, right? Jeet Kune Do was available, so to speak, right? So that's what was going on. That's what was growing. And so in that decade and a half, Jeet Kune Do pretty much sold itself. We had Bruce Lee the same way that we do today as spokesperson and cultural icon, but video was a new thing. And that was where you had a lot of promotion of Jeet Kune Do in the VHS world, right? With everybody putting their stuff out there. And then inside schools, when it comes to the instruction of Jeet Kune Do, people were having a great time pointing out to interested parties about the deficiencies in the other arts. that were illustrated or highlighted by your study of Jeet Kune Do. Back then, the useful aspects of any other art were absorbed into Jeet Kune Do, and Jeet Kune Do was the thing that was promoted as the hip, cool, avant-garde, the art that was ahead of its time. Even the dispute between the so-called dispute, or the dispute between the so-called original group and the concepts group, even that dispute served to perpetuate JKD's relevance as a martial art worthy of consideration by interested parties. And then Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu came along, and with it, the UFC, and seemingly overnight, BJJ developed a reputation as the unbeatable art. And as is wont to happen, there was a massive departure from the ranks of all martial arts, including Jeet Kune Do, over to this new supreme art. The funny thing is that there were some JKD people who had already been training in BJJ since the 1980s. So it wasn't that new to them. I imagine that they had been training it all along and integrating it into their Jeet Kune Do, right? But as the UFC developed, it grew past mere martial art, and it became indispensable entertainment, as well as a cultural influencer. Dare I say, part of the zeitgeist, right? So interest from the public started to veer away from other arts, including the previously best known reality-based art, AKA Jeet Kune Do. So everything started to veer towards this combat sport, which was proven itself as a combat sport in the ring, seemingly every weekend. And this went on for a while. Then fighters seem to have worked out how to deal with the ground fighting aspects of the UFC, which in and of itself is a very Jeet Kune Do thing to do. And then more, and again, this is my perception of it, and more of the striking element began to be incorporated. And that might have been affected by rule changes or whatever, I don't know. But now, because there's a thing about the striking aspects, so now Muay Thai or kickboxing becomes a thing. And once again, who's at the forefront? JKD people who, again, had been training in this other thing, right? And in this case, Muay Thai, since the 1980s. So this is perhaps how JKD people became associated with MMA fighters. They had already been training in grappling. They had already been training in Muay Thai. Right? And so that's a relationship that continues to this day. But this is perhaps how JKD people became associated as trainers and coaches of MMA fighters. But since the public were being treated to a steady diet of MMA, therefore BJJ and Muay Thai, and BJJ and Muay Thai were being constantly highlighted. For some reason, the term Jeet Kune Do wasn't heard that much. And so JKD started to disappear from the landscape, except for those who, like behind the scenes, knew what was going on. Every once in a while, you'd hear about somebody that trained in JKD, like a fighter that trained in JKD, or a fighter whose trainer was a JKD guy. And that's how we remained aware that there was still a JKD presence in the combat sport world, right? One day, I thought of this while I was researching. One day, someone is going to have to ask all the JKD coaches why they didn't promote what they were training their fighters in as Jeet Kune Do. I think someday somebody might have to ask that, right? Okay, but here's the thing, see? There's a saying that perception is reality, right? So if something is not being talked about, or if the only time it is talked about, it is to rehash the controversies of Jeet Kune Do, what the heck is attractive to outsiders about that? People will not be impressed by that that kind of behavior, and so they will move on to something or somewhere else. So if JKD is or has been important to you, and you've heard me say this before, why not say so to the world? Why instead just harp on all the problems within the JKD world? That is not something that you're going to be able to change simply because humans are involved. But what you can change is your approach to spreading the art. So I used to think that people would catch on to what I was doing as a Jeet Kune Do instructor without my being specific. So I had to learn the hard way that students do not possess the same mentality as an instructor. And therefore, it was actually my job to point them in the direction in which they wanted to go. So in case you have never noticed this, I am a big fan of talking about Jeet Kune Do. But right alongside the working to improve, perfect, master, whatever verb you want to use, our physical art, we also need to work on improving all the other aspects of our art, right? Because dig this, right? This is what I thought. Even non-martial artist people, right? Everybody loves to hear Bruce Lee philosophize about Jeet Kune Do, right? Be water, my friend. I mean, you can't get away from that goddamn phrase, right? So it's incumbent on us, JKD people, it's incumbent on us as well to learn to talk intelligently about our art. So you're not really impressing anyone when all you can do is to point out divisions or that there are problems in the JKD world. We kind of already know that. The real question is, what are you doing about it, or what are you going to do about it? So going forward, are you going to change the energy that you put out to the world concerning Jeet Kune Do? I thought about this. This is kind of an add-on to the notes that I had made previously, right? And it's actually because of something I saw here on Facebook literally about an hour ago. If you put out a video on Facebook, here's the thing. You're putting it out to the world. I talked about the VHS era, right? Now with live streaming or whatever, posting a video, it's pretty much going to be viewed as instructional. So I don't think you should, I just thought of this. Don't make the mistake of thinking that you can just put it out there without being specific about what you are portraying or conveying when you put that video out. Don't leave it up to people. It's still going to happen, but as much as you can, don't leave it up to people to interpret or calculate what it is you're trying to say or depict in your video. Say it in the video, put it in the title of the video, put it in a description of the video or what have you. But don't just put stuff out there and expect that people are going to understand exactly what it is that you're trying to do. You can probably do that. Like if I put up a video of me doing a kata from Shotokan or something, I don't really have to explain it because everybody knows, oh, that's Heian Nidan, right? But when you put out, unfortunately, when you put out a JKD video, this thing is subject to myriad interpretation. So that was a thought that I had, like just before I came, I went live. The other thought that I had was, if you're a Jeet Kune Do instructor, or you want to be known as a Jeet Kune Do instructor, or whatever, right? But people see you more in a jiu-jitsu gi with your black belt in jiu-jitsu than they see you in some kind of JKD uniform. That something it might be necessary for something to register with you there. Now, understand what I'm saying. If you're a Jeet Kune Do instructor and a black belt in jiu-jitsu or what have you, of course you have the right to put out whatever it is that you want to put out. What I'm saying is, if you want to promote Jeet Kune Do, if you even want to promote yourself or remind people that you are also a Jeet Kune Do instructor, then at least have it be a 50-50 thing. You know, 50% JKD, 50% Jiu-Jitsu or whatever, or maybe even more. I don't know. That'd be up to you. But like I said, these are just thoughts that I literally had a few minutes before I sat down and clicked go live on the thing. All right. Okay. So that's it for today. So feel free, share, like, comment, ask questions if you want. I'll review everything after posting. Sign up for notifications for when we go live on Facebook, and subscribe over on the YouTube channels, both for this, the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast, and also for the Jeet Kune Do dialogues. And when you're there on the YouTube, be sure to hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. ilovejeetkunዶ.com, Quick Skills Series Volume 1 still available. Coming up on Friday, August 14th. Right, Jeet Kune Do dialogues with Sifu Randy of Valor Jeet Kune Do, and that should be at regular time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Today, if you can't tell, is a blue day. There you go, right? And so, well, let me see if anybody actually came on live here. Anything I should talk about right now? Hey, John Nasir, what's happening? Cameron Rico, cool. Hey, Paul Johnson. Steve Corley was here. Bob Landers. I got to talk to Bob about Bill Wallace. Richard Torres. Hey, Matthew Robert. Hey, Russell. Sean Madigan. Cool. Kick Magazine. See, now, if Sean Madigan mentions Kick Magazine, you know he's an old FART, right? John Little and Nucleus gave a boost to JKD and Bruce Lee in the 90s. For true, Richard. I noticed many schools hide in JKD within or behind a Kali program. My main guess, they aren't good at either art for doing so. Randy, I don't know if I would agree that they're doing that because they're not good at either art. I don't, unless you're talking about uncertified schools, right? And then those are just rip-off art, rip-off artists, right? Hey, Jerry, JKD is alive in my gym farm. Right, okay, all right. So Randy, that's what you do, right? Normal lay people. See, so Mark Halleck, actually, Mark, keep your ears open because I want to talk to you officially in September. Right, but see what Mark's saying, normal lay people have no clue what JKD is. How is that possible? When the founder of Jeet Kune Do, normal lay people know exactly who he is. But that's an interesting point that that you put up there, Mr. Halleck. Nice. Okay. See, but Mark, look at what Anthony Labrador says. His 8-year-old loves Bruce Lee. Now that's probably because of Anthony's influence. So if kids today don't know who Bruce Lee is, that's because of the lack of influence from the people who should be putting it out there, right? Anyhow, B Water is the name of the new racist, but Bob Landers, stop it. All right. My daughter is short, right? Okay. Hey, Brian. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're good on that. Okay, so I will see some of you guys on Friday at 6 o'clock with Sifu Randy. The rest of you, hopefully I'll see you next Wednesday for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Until then, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Peace.